What group of foods can cause pain, gas, and bloating, frequent urination, headaches, and brain fog? Keep watching to find out about how high oxalate foods may be something to pay attention to fix your symptoms. I'm Amanda Malacheski, certified functional health coach and digestive and allergy detective. I help you find your unique path back to health, even if you've been told there's nothing you can do. For the best tips and tricks on how to navigate digestive and allergy challenges, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every Monday. Have you been experiencing frequent or persistent pain in either your gut or your joints or anywhere else in the body? Oxalates may be the reason. In this video, I'll explain what oxalates are and where they're found, how they can contribute to digestive and pain symptoms, and I'll let you know how to safely check and see if oxalates might be part of your symptom picture. I personally discovered that oxalates were a huge contributor to my back pain, my period pain, and my gut pain. And once I figured this out, I was able to avoid the worst of my triggers and have less symptoms. And you can too, so let's get started. When I say oxalates, I'm referring to oxalic acid, which is a normal part of certain foods, and it's also normally made inside our body. But as is the case with a lot of things like this, sometimes our bodies aren't able to properly manage the oxalic acid that we're taking in. And when this happens, excess oxalate can build up in our body tissues. And the oxalic acid makes little crystals, and these are super jagged and sharp, and so they can literally cut into our body tissues and cause pain. Oxalates are what most kidney stones are made of. Some high oxalate foods include things like spinach, beets, chard, chocolate, coffee, almonds, soy, peanuts, and kale. I'll leave a link below where you can download my oxalate handout that includes a food list so you can try and figure out exactly which foods are considered to be high oxalate. So there are certain conditions that enable your body to absorb more oxalate than you want to. And some of these include things like using antibiotics, eating a lot of high oxalate foods, vitamin deficiencies in vitamin B1, vitamin B6, and also either calcium and or magnesium, problems with fat malabsorption, leaky gut, and in some cases, certain genetic situations. Do you eat a lot of the foods that I just mentioned? Let me know which ones down in the comments below. So how do you know if oxalates are a problem for you? Well, if you've been watching my videos for a little while, you won't be surprised to hear me say that an elimination diet is the way to get to this information. If you need a little more information on how to use an elimination diet, you can watch my other video called How to Do an Elimination Diet for IBS. I'll leave a link for that below. But with oxalates, we need to do a much more careful job of eliminating than we would otherwise with other kinds of food sensitivities, because if we decrease oxalates really suddenly, your body's going to get the message that it's okay to release them, and all the stored oxalate can suddenly come out into circulation, and you can get a significant increase in the symptoms that you've been experiencing, maybe pain or urinary frequency or some of the other things that can happen. So we need to proceed cautiously. So the first step is to go ahead and grab that oxalate handout I mentioned earlier. I'm putting a link for that below, and also grab a copy of my Food-Symptom Diary. And so I want you to take that oxalate food list and take a look at it and see which of those foods on that list maybe that you are eating a lot of on the day-to-day, and pick, say, 2 to 4 of them to work with initially. As with other lists like this, where there's sort of a chemical component to the food that might be the problem, you don't want to eliminate everything on the list, not only because of the possibility of oxalate dumping, but because often, it's just 1 or 2 or 3 of the foods that you're really sensitive to. Like, for example, I discovered that almonds and chocolate were like my kryptonite. Every time I ate these, I got a significant spike in pain. But I found that even though sweet potatoes are a high oxalate food, I can eat them as long as I don't eat the peel. So go ahead and pick 2 to 4 foods on that list to work with. So the next step, and this is super, super key, you really need to listen to my advice here. You're going to reduce, not eliminate those foods for the next week. So for example, if spinach is one of the foods that, say, you eat 3 times a week in a spinach salad, I want you to drop back to 2 spinach salads in a week and spread out those 2 remaining spinach salads. If you eat chocolate every day, drop back to doing it every other day. Definitely do not make any drastic or sudden complete eliminations of oxalate foods. So now, using your food symptom diary, I want you to write down what you're eating and track your symptoms over the next week. And at the end of the week, go ahead and look back and see if you've experienced a little bit of relief from the symptoms of pain or headaches or gut pain or whatever it was that you were experiencing. And if you have, maybe continue slowly, little bit by little bit, decreasing the amount of oxalates that you're eating. If you didn't notice any improvements at all, you could try some of the other foods on the list and see if you get any improvement there. But it might also be that oxalates aren't the challenge and there's something else needed. And if you need help picking what elimination diet is the right one for you, you can check out my other video called How to Choose the Right Elimination Diet. One other way that you can test to see if oxalates might be a problem for you is if when you notice especially pain symptoms in your gut or in other body parts, if you go ahead and take a little bit of calcium citrate or magnesium citrate, and that helps relieve the pain symptoms, that's another sign that you may be dealing with oxalate sensitivity. And if you've got some money to throw around, you can also do an organic acids test, which is a test where you collect your first morning urine and the lab looks for certain metabolites in your urine. So the Great Plains Laboratory Organic Acids Test has some specific readings for oxalates if you really want to dig into things there. Now you know how to explore whether oxalate sensitivity is part of your symptom situation. If you give this a try, I'd love to hear from you what you discovered. And if all this sounds super confusing and you're not sure what to do next, I'd like to invite you to schedule some time with me to have a free 30-minute assessment session. In this session, I'll help get you going on the right track and you can learn how I can support you. You can schedule that free assessment session with me by visiting my website, confluencenutrition.com/contact, and using my online appointment scheduler to talk further. And if you're not ready to meet me yet, go ahead and grab my roadmap to gut recovery, where I map out the route to a life free of gut symptoms. You can get that by visiting confluencenutrition.com/roadmap. And if you like this video, please let me know by liking it below, subscribe and share it with your fellow digestively challenged friends or family, and comment below with helpful if this video helped you.